You've been told a lie your entire life, a sweet one, wrapped in romance, in poetry, in Disney dialogues and dopamine spikes. It starts when you're a boy, and it's not even your choice. You're taught that women are angels, that love will save you, that if you just give enough, prove enough, endure enough, she'll see you, she'll stay, she'll never leave. But what if I told you this illusion was designed to keep you blind, that what you think is devotion might actually be self-abandonment? Arthur Schopenhauer was one of the few brave enough to say what most men are too scared to whisper, that the pedestal we place women on isn't a celebration, it's a trap. We don't fall in love with women, we fall in love with our idea of them, our fantasy, our projection. You think she's different, you think she's kind, you think her soft voice means a soft heart. But Schopenhauer would argue, you're not in love with her. You're in love with the way she makes you forget your pain. And here's the cost of that illusion. You will keep chasing women who remind you of your wounds. You will call it chemistry, but it's trauma recognition. This is why men get attached to women who treat them poorly, because they're still seeking approval from the first woman who didn't give it, their mother. The illusion isn't just romantic, it's existential. You think she will give you identity. She won't. She can't. A man who doesn't know who he is will always be destroyed by the woman he thinks he needs. And yet, we keep trying, keep sacrificing, keep overextending, trying to protect the illusion, even as it burns us alive. But here's what you need to understand. Waking up to reality isn't bitterness, it's liberation. Schopenhauer didn't hate women. He hated lies. He saw how biology, society, and emotion created a mask, the one that fools not just men, but women themselves. So, let this video be a mirror, not to shame you, not to harden you, but to show you what you've refused to see. Because once you see that, you'll stop chasing what was never real, and finally build the life that is nature's hidden agenda. If you've ever felt confused by a woman's actions, if you've ever wondered why she pulled away the moment you gave your all, you're not alone. And you're not crazy. Because here's what Schopenhauer understood, and most men never do. Her behavior is not personal, it's biological, instinctual, primal. She doesn't decide to withdraw when you show neediness. Her nervous system does. She doesn't consciously plan to test you. Her biology does. To a woman, strength is survival. Power is safety. Control is comfort. So when you cry to her, when you beg her to stay, when you make her the center of your emotional universe, you stop being a man in her eyes, and you start becoming something else, a risk. Because if she can control you, she can't trust you. If she can manipulate you, she can't respect you. And without respect, there is no attraction. That's the brutal truth. And most men spend years chasing the opposite. You see, we've been conditioned to believe that emotional vulnerability equals intimacy. But Schopenhauer knew something far more disturbing. Nature doesn't care about your feelings. It only cares about replication. In the natural world, a female selects the mate most likely to pass on strong genes, not the one who feels the most, not the one who gives the most, but the one who commands reality, the one who cannot be shaken. And if that feels harsh, remember this. We are still animals, just wearing designer labels. Civilized primates, governed by urges we barely understand. Every woman, no matter how modern, no matter how spiritual, is still wired by evolution. She's scanning your behavior, reading your frame, sensing constantly whether you're safe or weak. Not safe as in you won't harm her. Safe as in you won't crumble. Under pressure, under stress, under her emotions. Because here's a truth Schopenhauer whispered, and the modern world tries to bury. Most women don't actually want to lead. They want to surrender. but only to a man who's truly grounded, unshakable, sovereign. And here's the paradox. If you seek her approval to feel like a man, she can never trust you as one, because deep down, she's waiting for a man who won't collapse when she tests him, who doesn't need her softness to stay strong, who remains anchored even when her storms roll in. Not because he doesn't care, but because his identity isn't on the line. That is what nature respects. That is what women obey, even if they never admit it. So no, her behavior isn't logical. It's biological. And once you understand that, you'll stop taking it personally. You'll stop explaining yourself. You'll stop proving yourself. And instead, you'll begin to embody yourself. And that, my brother, is the beginning of real power. The real reason good men get left. You were kind. You were loyal. You did everything right. And still, she left. Or worse, she stayed. But her respect died. Her eyes dulled. Her touch became colder. Her silence louder. And you're left asking yourself, what the hell did I do wrong? Schopenhauer would say, you weren't wrong. You were just misguided. Because in your quest to be the perfect man, you forgot the most important thing. Women don't fall for perfection. They fall for polarity. What does that mean? It means if she feels like the leader, if she feels more emotionally stable than you, if she feels like the one holding the relationship together, she begins to resent you, not consciously, but deep down, something primal starts to decay. Why? Because feminine energy, even in strong, independent women, is drawn to strength, not sweetness, not sacrifice, not submission. And when a good man gives everything, when he bends over backwards to make her happy, he often loses the very thing she was attracted to, his center. She didn't want your world to revolve around her. She wanted to be invited into a world you already mastered. But you handed her the throne, and in doing so, you made her the king of a kingdom she never asked to rule. And that's the cruel irony. The better you treat her, if it comes from need, from approval-seeking, from fear of losing her, the faster she disconnects, because she feels it. Women feel everything. They are intuitive creatures, wired to test your emotional weight. So when she gets moody and distant, when she starts criticizing or pulling away, she's not being toxic. She's unconsciously checking, is this man anchored enough to hold me, even when I'm chaos? And if you react with panic, if you explain yourself endlessly, if you try to fix her feelings, she knows you're not the one, not because you're bad, but because you're unstable, because you needed her energy to feel okay. And that, to the feminine nervous system, is unsafe. Here's what Schopenhauer understood, that men today have forgotten. Women don't want to feel like your therapist. They want to feel your power, not your problems. And the tragedy is, good men often suffer the most because they love deeply, but they don't know how to lead with presence. They give everything, except the one thing she actually craves, a man who knows himself, not a boy seeking her love to feel whole, but a grounded, sovereign man who chooses her without needing her. And once you embody that, once your validation comes from your own alignment, not her reactions, she stops testing. She starts softening, and the real magic begins. But until then, you'll keep replaying the same cycle. Be the nice guy, get overlooked, give more, get resented, lose her, not because love isn't real, but because polarity is. How women test men, and why most men fail miserably. Let's talk about the test. Every man's been through it. Most don't even realize it's happening. One day she's sweet, affectionate, and radiant. The next, she's withdrawn, irritable, picking little fights, acting cold for no reason. And you wonder, is something wrong? Did I mess up? No. What you're feeling is not a problem. It's a ritual. A woman's emotional shift is not random. It's an unconscious test of your inner strength. Because whether she realizes it or not, she's asking, can this man hold my storms without collapsing? Can he remain grounded while I spin? You see, the feminine is like the ocean. Beautiful, emotional, ever-changing, and it needs the masculine to be like the shore. Steady, still, unmoved. But here's where most men fail. They try to fix the ocean. They say things like, "Are you okay? What did I do wrong? Tell me what you need." But the more you chase reassurance, the more she loses respect, because you've just revealed your center is fragile. Your peace depends on her mood. And to her subconscious, that screams, "This man cannot lead." She doesn't want you to suppress your emotions, but she wants to know, can you anchor both yours and hers? This is what Schopenhauer understood before psychology gave it a name. He didn't call it a test. He called it the inversion of nature, where men forget their essence and become emotionally entangled in seeking approval from women. He warned, when men abandon themselves to win affection, they become slaves to a dynamic that will destroy them, and modern men live it every day, because instead of holding the line, they fold. Instead of standing tall, they apologize for breathing. But here's the truth. A woman testing you isn't bad. It's sacred. It's her way of asking, are you the mountain? Can I trust you with my wildness? And when you meet her chaos with calm, when you don't take her storm personally, when you stay rooted without shutting down, she relaxes, not just emotionally, biologically. Her body stops guarding. Her feminine opens. Her respect deepens, because now she knows, you're not just a man, you're her man. Not because you dominated her, but because you didn't flinch. And that's the paradox. The more you remain unmoved by her moods, the more she moves toward you. But if you chase her validation, if you need her to be happy so you feel okay, you'll lose her, not out of cruelty, but because deep down, she can't trust a man who doesn't trust himself. So stop trying to pass her tests. Start understanding them. They're not attacks. They're invitations to lead, to ground, to be the man she silently prays you'll become. Why most men are trained to fail with women and how to unlearn it. Most men aren't weak. They're just conditioned wrong. They've been taught since childhood that to be loved, you must perform, you must please, you must provide. But no one ever taught them how to see, not with their eyes, but with their awareness. No one ever told them that love is not about approval. It's about attunement. And so men chase validation. They learn to be nice. They avoid conflict. They say yes when they mean no. They overgive. They underexpress. They become men that women like, but don't trust. Why? Because deep down, the woman senses he is not whole. He is performing, not embodying. He is chasing peace, not holding presence. He is terrified of rejection, not rooted in reality. And here's where it gets devastating. A man who can't handle rejection will always betray himself to avoid it. That man becomes unstable, untrustworthy, not because he's bad, but because he's lost himself trying to be chosen. Schopenhauer saw through this illusionaries ago. He observed how women intuitively sought through men, filtering not by charm, not by wealth, but by stability, not the financial kind, the energetic kind. A woman will subconsciously test a man's internal strength, long before she tests his bank account. And if he folds, if he fumbles over himself trying to please her, if he needs her approval to feel like a man, she knows, he cannot hold me. So what do? You stop trying to be good, and you start becoming clear. Clear in your boundaries, clear in your values, clear in your ability to remain unmoved by emotional storms. This doesn't mean you become cold. It means you become uncorrupted. Because the man who can love without needing to be liked, that man becomes magnetic. He no longer seeks permission to exist. He no longer performs. He no longer chases peace by avoiding truth. And women feel that. They may not always understand it. They may even resist it. But their body, their nervous system, recognizes safety when it's in the room. And when that happens, everything changes. Your relationships stop being a battlefield. They become an invitation, a mirror, a sacred space where both can be seen without performance. So if you feel like you're always walking on eggshells, always trying to say the right thing, always giving more than you get, that's not love. That's survival. And it will never fulfill you. Schopenhauer wasn't trying to be romantic. He was being real. And maybe it's time you are too. When she loses interest, what she's really trying to say, it starts small. Less eye contact, shorter replies, a subtle emotional distance you can't quite name. And your mind scrambles. Is she tired? Is she stressed? Did I do something wrong? But Schopenhauer would tell you, you're asking the wrong questions. Because when a woman begins to pull away, she's not always consciously punishing you. She's testing your foundation. What she's trying to say without saying it is this: I need to feel something deeper, or I'm gone. And if you chase, plead, or start molding yourself to win her back, you've already failed the test. Because the moment you abandon your center to try and fix her emotions, you've given up your power. This is what Schopenhauer feared most: the man who gives his soul away, piece by piece, in exchange for temporary approval. You see, when she says she's bored or unsure, it's not always about the relationship. It's often about your energy. Have you dulled your edge? Have you started walking on eggshells? Have you stopped pursuing anything beyond her validation? She doesn't want a servant. She wants a force, a man anchored in something deeper than her moods. So when she starts to drift, don't panic, don't cling, observe, breathe, and return to your mission. Because if she sees you fold under pressure, if she senses your self-worth depends on her affection, she'll pull away even faster. But if you stand tall, unmoved by the waves, rooted in who you are, she might just realize what she's been starving for all along. Not a man who fixes her emotions, but a man whose presence fixes the room. This doesn't mean you become cold. It means you become clear. You're not here to be liked. You're here to live your truth. And if that truth causes her to walk away, let her go. Because the moment you betray yourself to keep someone, you've already lost the only thing worth keeping. And that is what she truly feels, even if she never says it. If this resonated, take a moment to subscribe. Drop a comment below, not for the algorithm, but to mark this chapter in your journey. If you made it this far, you're not just watching, you're remembering, returning, reclaiming your inner ground. So trust that the video YouTube shows you next, the one appearing now, is not random. It's the next doorway, the next layer, and it will meet you exactly where you are. We'll see you in the next depth. Depthoria continues.